okay about it, but how should he be? But what did you make of the finish to the match between Yokozuna and Lex Luger in the end?
Well, I've got to say, I didn't really mind the ending of this match too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like for the same reasons that you said, that I wasn't really buying into the Lex Luger character.
Mm-hmm.
And much like you just said just now, like where he was all for the American people, and you're looking at his counterparts, people like Bret Hart, and it isn't about borders, it's about the people. When I watch Bret Hart fight, I think he's doing it for the fans, not just Canada, not just the country. So I really did find it hard to make that connection. And, thank God for there being no internet back in that day, because if there was, this match would have gone down like a lead balloon, chants, "You're not Japanese," and all that. It's good that people really did believe that Yoko was Japanese at that time, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, it gets reported now, we're coming out of course, the back end of August. We're hitting September, and Lex Luger was injured in a match with Shawn Michaels from the 31st to the 8th television tapings, and he's been missing quite a lot of September with the injury. At this point, they're not sure how long he's going to be out of action for, but obviously worst timing, I suppose, after a kind of a big match like that. Reports we are getting, says Meltzer, about SummerSlam, and did a 1.1 and 1.3 buy rate, which would be a Titan share estimated at 3.1 million gross. Told it was about 10 to 12% down from Royal Rumble and about 35% down from last year's SummerSlam, or roughly the same as King of the Ring, which has to be a disappointment considering the great job and promotion that they tried to get behind Lex Luger and Hulk Express. Do you feel like at that point, Matt, like if you was WWF kind of devoted and you're thinking Hogan's going to be around to kind of save the day against Yokozuna, but he's not there, they try and do everything they possibly can here for Lex Luger. Do you think that they kind of that kind of star power in Hogan, do you think that really did play an effect into the ratings at that point? And perhaps Luger didn't have that star power of Hogan. It's not. The thing is with Hogan, it's not just wrestling, is it? It's a name. It's so much to so many things for Hulk Hogan. He's almost his own brand, isn't it? And by him not being advertised on the card, do you think that played a major part?
Yeah, it definitely does. Like Hogan's even at that point, he's got like a legacy going there. Years and years of hard work. And, people have seen the matches. Even at this point, there's people who are coming up to their teenagehood or even older than that have grown up with Hogan, from their childhood hero. So they're still hoping to see more of him probably, but it would always never be a great time to let Hogan go, and it's definitely. At that time, it'd probably be the biggest hit that WWF had taken, to lose Hogan, because he was they're always. If he was ever in a tight spot, you could turn to him and he could just run with this thing. But and I suppose not even Santa Claus could save them, could he? What was that about? Do you remember seeing that when Santa Claus came out with Lex? Yeah. If he can't get you over, then I'm not sure if Lex was ever going to do the job, getting over.
Okay, now it's reported here when Lex Luger will return from his injury, he is now going to be put in another program, and this is a program with a wrestler that, I couldn't believe how long it went on for, considering this guy. But Matt, when I say the name of this guy... Ludwig Borger. Do you remember this guy in WWF? I got to say, I completely forgot about him until I revisited some of these matches, and I tried to look at his debut in particular. I'm not sure how the hell they come up with this thing, because this doesn't, even though he's a big guy, he doesn't look like McMahon style kind of big crazy heel that he normally goes for, but he's got a no nonsense approach. He's kind of very one-dimensional with that. What are your memories of this guy, if any, and do you remember this feud at all between him and Luger?
Well, this is an interesting one because, like, when we was like going back and looking at the Lex Luger stuff and everything, and then you said to me, "Oh yeah, by the way, give Ludwig Borger a look because he's gonna feature in the timeline." The first thing that came to my mind was, who? Isn't he the fat guy that used to snuff his foot? And then I went, "Oh no, that was Bastian Burger."
Yeah.
I was like, Ludwig Borger, and then I went look at, and I was like, "Oh yes, of course, I do remember that guy." And he really is like the prototype of like what a lot of future WWF/WWE characters would be based upon.
Yeah.
We're still having characters like him turn up now, but yeah, I think he was quite ahead of his time actually for what they were trying for then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that I think the interesting thing here is Lex Luger. I want to say like I don't know what they were trying to go for here. He's just come off like a big match at SummerSlam. Do you think by putting him with Borger, it was like kind of a step down in the sense that we're not gonna focus on you as much? Although they still were doing the Lex Express, they weren't putting the whole promotion behind it as much anymore. Do you feel like they were kind of leaving it out there now for him, and we'll have to go with someone else, or because of what happened at SummerSlam, or do you think this was legitimately what they thought was going to be a really good feud between these two guys?
I think they might have found this as a good sort of intermediate kind of thing, like to do on the way to WrestleMania.
Sure.
You can't just like stay at the top all the time and just keep like not getting the title. I think you have to do something to take the focus off of the title for a little bit longer. I think maybe this was what they thought might do it, and facing another kind of like brackets like foreigner, which like might see the fans get behind him a little bit. I just know it's just going back to the same old thing with him though. They definitely seemed too afraid to step outside that box and maybe put an extra bit of dynamic into his character. I'm not sure it was the best sort of direction to go down, but I could maybe see where they were heading with this.
Yeah, certainly wasn't. Meltzer reports these matches are some of the worst matches ever. They're not going down well with the crowd. And they run with these matches through all the house shows from September all the way through, Matt, to November. This is a match this is a program that's just not going to go away. Meltzer reports that the Lex Luger Borger series continues to be a major disappointment in almost every arena. It's amazing with the amount of money and time spent on pushing Luger just 2 months ago, and how well it appeared on television, that it was working, that it turned into such a major flop at this point. And I guess at this point in coming towards the end of October here, coming up to early November, you'd probably suggest, Matt, you think they've given up on him totally from what's going on here, because they didn't seem like they were putting him anywhere else at this point. A couple of fun facts here. Giant Gonzalez in October, this is at the end of October of 1993, would appear on Baywatch episode, which is at this point, Matt, get this, the most popular television show in the world, playing the part of and in this one, Giant Gonzalez plays the part of a normal, very tall man being cruelly exploited by a sleazy sideshow promoter who makes him do subhuman heel freak things in the episode, and is also produced by Jimmy Hart. That's interesting, isn't it? So there you go. He got a role in that, so was definitely going down well there. I want to bring us up now to let's go towards the in the middle of November here, and very interesting that this is a point, Matt. 1993, November 93 here. On the 12th of the 11th, it's reported there is going to be a show titled The Ultimate Fighting Challenge. Takes place from Denver, which is billed as almost anything goes fight with champions of several different combat sports: shoot wrestling, boxing, sumo, karate, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, etc. Pancrase wrestler Ken Shamrock will be there. And of course, if you want to hear more about Ken Shamrock, then go back. We have covered Ken Shamrock, and you can check out his timeline in the WWF. But interesting, Matt, 1993, when you think of where WWF was at, Ultimate Fighting coming along at this point, like what a rise that's had, considering where that's at now. It's incredible, isn't it? To think that they were just starting back here at that point. But yeah, that's unbelievable to think that that was going on at this point. Again, we have there's a Thanksgiving special going on, and again they book none other than Lex Luger and Borga are at the house shows. Fun fact here as well: ringside tickets for WrestleMania the following year, which of course is from Madison Square Garden and would mark the 10th anniversary of WrestleMania, are going for $300, with the gimmick being that you can get to take your own chair home. People are going to complain about the price, but my feeling is, Meltzer reports, if people are willing to pay the price for tickets, the price isn't too high, and I'm certain those tickets won't be going unsold. So yeah, there you go. You get the whole thing of the whole idea, Matt, of you can take your chair home. Why not throw that one in? And that still goes today. There's another thing here as well, which is really worth pointing out, where WWF was and WCW was, and also Japan at this time, because around this time, of course, traditionally the second biggest wrestling show of the year is New Japan's January 4th event, which will be coming up from the Tokyo Dome, which will be called Battlefield at the Tokyo Dome. Much of the card was announced this past week, headlined by none other than Antonio Inoki, and also on that card, Matt, features Hulk Hogan up against Fujinami, who recently was inducted in the Hall of Fame. The Steiner brothers are also there as well. Tiger Mask, Too Cold Scorpio, I'm sure you all remember him. And it looks like a really compact wrestling card going on there to what WWF had at the time when they announced this. So yeah, that wasn't going down too well for WWF. Let's go for the next one, and this time the TV tapings are slightly changing, Matt, around the house shows for the build-up here. They now have Brett and Lex teaming up together against, none other than Borga and Yokozuna. And a fun fact here as well, around this time at the end of November, is that Hulk Hogan has signed a deal with Disney to film Thunder in Paradise in Orlando. Works out nicely for him, doesn't it? The show's first 20 episodes will be taped from January 10th to June 6th of 94 and will debut on the television worldwide in March. With this kind of schedule, don't expect Hogan to do much wrestling during that time frame. In addition, Meltzer reports, when it comes to the all-round rumours, Hogan starting a new wrestling company, basically saying don't think too much of that, basically. Okay, want to now hit November 29th, 1993, and this is probably one of the big... I'm sure we're going to go through this on long form at some point, Matt. This is the whole McMahon Titan face steroid indictments, basically, at this time. This is the first time there was any real mention of it, and believe me, this makes huge news. NBC, ABC, Prime Time, they're all picking up this. CNN, ESPN, they are literally covering WWF, but obviously not in a positive light. And it seems like WWF have got a lot of things going on outside again with this kind of thing hitting them at this point. Want to say as well that there's an interesting show here from Niagara Falls where Lex Luger beats, guess who it was, Matt? Ludwig Booger.
Was it Booger?
Yeah, again. So this whole program is just absolutely non-stop. I mean, like, it seems like hell if you've had enough of it by the